Hi, my name is Cowzer. I'm a manager at Accenture Digital. Today I was talking about design thinking, and it's really just a methodology that we use to challenge our ways of thinking and bring design and creativity to everything we do. Hello, thank you, Joan, very much for that introduction. As Joan said, my name is Cowzer. I am a manager in Accenture Digital, and I'm here to talk to you today about how I use design and design thinking in every single thing I do, whether it's Monday morning, first thing, large coffee in hand, or Friday afternoon when we're watching the clock for the weekend to begin. So I suppose before I kickstart into that, just to give you a bit of my background, and you heard some of that just there, but not too long ago I was studying computer science and business in Trinity College, and that was everything from coding and Java and C++, things that I've very much left behind me, and in the business sphere looking at things like marketing, human resources and financial services. So that dual degree really placed me well when I came to Accenture, to be that person that can join the technology and the business side together. So I joined Accenture back in 2013. I've had the great opportunity to work across various different industries. So I've worked with large search engine clients. I've worked with a global bank and some local Irish banks here in Ireland. I've worked with their government departments, pharmaceutical companies, and health insurers. And while all of these companies you might think are very different, they're all serving the same pool of people. And they're serving people. And that's the key thing. We need to bring people into the heart of everything that we do, and design thinking is a fantastic way of doing that. So when I say I work in Accenture Digital, first question is, what is digital? I still haven't cracked the right answer, but for me, the one I found that closely explains it is really, digital is not just about technology. And you'll hear me say it a lot today. It's all about the people. It's what technology empowers people to do. That is truly the power of digital. And the companies and businesses that I work with, whether they're local or international, big or small, they're all trying to create exciting new experiences for their customers. And to do this, a lot of them really have to transform. And transformation is hard, but it's about pushing the boundaries, and it's really about challenging the norm, and to do that you absolutely need a design mindset. So I suppose when I say I'm a designer, just have a think. What comes to mind when you hear design? So I have some images up there. I'm sure there's many, many other pictures or thoughts people had. But initially, when I heard about design, I immediately backed away and said, no, that's not me. I am not an artist. I cannot design clothes. I can't draw for the life of me. So when I told my family I was a designer in work, they were a little bit concerned because they know I can't draw. From my computer science background, a lot of people might have thought front-end or back-end design. That's really when you put all the pieces of the puzzle together to create a technology. Yes, I understand it. Do I want to do it every day? Maybe not. Bottom right, so more sort of UI, so user interface or UX, user experience design. That's about designing the visuals of the applications that we use every day, whether they're on a computer screen, an app, or more so now, like those sort of devices that you see around Lewis stops and things like that. Again, I have an interest in it, but really design for me is as simple as those post-it notes in the bottom right-hand corner. Design is just the mindset that we bring to these things, and post-it notes are not to be underestimated. I usually have about 5 packets in my handbag every day, and it's really a tool that we use in everything we do in work. So, what is design for me? How do I flip things around and turn things around? Well, what's important for me to do design is to first of all understand the business goals. What is it that we're trying to achieve? What is it we're working towards? And then I need to understand, well, what's the relationship between these businesses and their customers? So that human element to it. Is it a positive relationship? Is it a negative relationship? Is it engaging, or is it transactional? Now, for some businesses, a short, quick, transactional is all you want. If I'm paying my tax, I don't want it to take 3 days. I don't want to be constantly reminded every 3 months, 6 months, 9 months that my tax is paid and I've done great. But if I bought a dress online from ASOS, I absolutely want to know where it is and when it's going to get to me. So it's just about understanding those nuances and understanding what's right for the customer. If I work in financials or auditing team, and I'm creating a bill to send to somebody, it might be really important for me that they have absolutely everything they need. They have their account number, their tax, where their tax has gone to, what services they've consumed. But if you flip that around and think about it from the customer perspective, what do they need? And that's where I get on to point number 3, sort of creating, designing, and really shaping the future. So the double diamond, this is the approach I undertake to do this. I'm going to start in the center. A lot of people, when they're given a problem, will start at the ideation piece. Immediately, you'll get a problem, or you'll get an exam question, or you'll get an assignment, and you're immediately trying to think, okay, what are all the solutions that we can have? What are the different ideas that we can bring to the table? And that is such a valuable exercise, but it's really empowering to do the research and the insights first. If we start on the far left-hand corner there, that pinpoint in the corner of the triangle, that's usually the problem that a client will come to me with. Oh, we need to fix this part of the process here, it's broken and it's driving our NPS score down, so customers aren't really happy with us. And yeah, okay, we'll take that away. But we'll do research, and we'll do research to diverge, so to open up the landscape, and to really understand what are the problems, and is it the right problem that we're trying to solve. So types of research that we will do will be desk research, it'll be customer interviews, it might be talking with people from around the organisation, and it could be looking at other industries. So just because you're working with a bank client doesn't mean you're just looking at the banks. You need to look a little bit broader. So it's all about opening up that avenue of exploration. What we then do is take all that data and try and find insights, pinpoint correlations, pinpoint causation. So why is something happening? What's causing the problem? Is it a problem? Remember, it might be a problem for you, but it might not be a problem for your customer, and vice versa. So the whole way through that insights piece where we are converging and we're trying to pinpoint it to, this is the problem we're trying to solve. Oftentimes, it's very different from the problem you started out with. And that's why I'd say it's valuable to do your research and insights before you start doing your brainstorming and your ideation, because you might be trying to solve the absolute wrong problem. So this is sort of the fun bit. So with the ideation, that can be as rough and ready as drawing out paper prototypes. This is where we get absolutely everyone's idea on board. And like Joan mentioned, everyone has an idea that they think is brilliant. And it can be brilliant. We just need to know how to apply it. So at this point, we get as many ideas out in the open as we can, often flushing out those first 10 ideas that might not be exactly what we need. But that just makes room for the next idea. It could be the 11th or the 12th one that really pinpoints what is we're trying to solve. So that's sort of an iterative circle. We go ideation and insights, and we sort of validate ourselves as we go through. And then what we're finding is a lot of organizations are taking those ideas and testing them with customers. And Google in particular pride themselves in sort of going out with products or services before they're 100% happy with them, because they understand the power of getting feedback and sort of having that collaborative process. And this is something that can be done in any walk of life, whether it's an assignment, a group project that you're doing, whether you're trying to come up with a side gig to do over the summer. But it's such a flexible way of approaching a problem that really can apply in many ways. So I suppose when we talk about those diamonds, there's different tools that we can use at each stage of that. I'm going to touch on a few examples. Some of them you might have heard already. Some of them are very jargony, so I'm sorry, but it's just a tool and it's just a way of working. So I suppose when we're trying to look and see what's out there, the types of tools that we use are interviewing. Like I said, that could be customer interviews or staff interviews. Contextual inquiry and ethnographic research. So ethnographic research, I don't know if anyone's familiar with that. It's observing people in their natural habitat. So that could be things like shadowing people. It could be just sitting back and watching somebody do a task without interrupting them, saving all your questions to the end. And the insights that you learn from that are really powerful, because what people say and what people do are oftentimes very, very different. Moving on then to the understanding piece. So visualize the vote. As I said, this is a very collaborative way of working. So once we've got everyone's ideas out on the table, nothing's thrown away, everything's put up on the wall using the very valuable Post-it notes. And what we do is we ask everyone in the room to put a mark on their top 3 ideas. And the power of doing it that way, it gives everyone an equal voice. I'm sure everyone's been in a situation where there's a group of people in the room and one voice might be louder than another, or you might just be that person who's afraid to sort of voice your opinion. By visualizing the vote as an activity, it gives everyone's vote equal weight, and it really opens up some interesting conversations. Experience diagramming is another one, statement starters, abstract laddering. I'm throwing these terms out here. There's lots of different ways that you can use these things. The Luma Institute is a fantastic resource online that has a lot of these templates that you can use. I'm going to show you an example of the persona profile now, and set factors after that. So I suppose just to start off, what is a persona? And I know personas would be traditionally used in a marketing sense we would have seen, but really from a design perspective, we're using personas to take people out of their day-to-day. Because I work a lot with experts in their field, experts who know their business, it's really important that we take them out of their day job and make them think like the customer, or think like the user that they're designing for. So what is a persona? Persona is a design tool. It's based on human needs, motivations, and behaviors, and that's so important. It's not just about what age you are, whether you're male or female, where you live, what your job is. Because I'm sure we all know a handful of people who are in the same course as us, or live on the same street as us, or went to the same school as us. And in a demographic perspective, we're exactly the same. But the things that we do, the things that we enjoy doing, the things that frustrate us, very, very different. So we really look at human needs, motivations, and behaviors as a key part of the persona. Other bits to remember, it's a representation of a group of people. It's human-centric, and it's used to inform the design. So what is this experience we're trying to create? I often have to remind people what it's not. So it's not demographics driven, as I've explained. It's not a way of explaining absolutely everyone that could potentially use it. I mean, that would just be impossible, but it's a good sample. It's not a way of explaining our needs and behaviours. So me as Aisling designing something, it's not my way of getting my point across. It's actually thinking about the person who's going to use this thing that I'm creating at the end. It's not business process centric. So it's not just based on, I want to open an account or I want to buy a product. It's about all my interactions with the service or the product. And the last one is, it's not something to be printed and left on a wall. That's the key thing with design. Design is never done. You always have to reiterate and iterate and investigate and validate. And there's always something new coming out, especially in the digital world. So design can never just be printed and put on a wall and that's it. You can forget about it now. Here's a couple of samples. I don't know if it's easy to see them on the screen, but on the left-hand side, it's just a blurb, really, that we give people to read in advance of a session. So sort of your generic, this is instructor Nick and the things that he likes and doesn't like. But what I really like is the one on the right-hand side. And there's a few things that I've called out previously that you can see highlighted on that slide. So we always give our personas a face, a name, something that the people can relate to. We have there the personality types. So are they introvert or extrovert? Are they conservative or liberal? These are things you might not think that companies or businesses actually are aware of, but it is something they should be when they are creating things that they want people to interact with. Goals and frustrations highlight the things that we're trying to help them with and the things we're trying to stop doing. And what's interesting is the brands piece on the right-hand side. So we've got New Look, Spotify, and one brand that I cannot see listed on the personas. And the point of doing that is to really challenge people. So if you're designing a particular product, it's very easy to look around and see what similar products are there, or to see what similar services are there. But it's important to look at the person that we're designing for. If Ellie uses Spotify every day when she's traveling on the Lewis, and Spotify can predict or send her 10 songs every week that she will enjoy based on what she's listened to, why can't my financial service provider tell me I should cancel my overdraft and get a credit card instead because I'm going to save more money? And these are the type of things that people are thinking when they use products or services. I'm sure you have examples that you can think of. And it's what we're challenging companies to really bring to the design of their new experiences. And it's what we use to sort of inspire us, not just within one piece, but actually a little bit broader. The next one I want to spend some time on are set factors. And the reason for set factors specifically is I think over the last couple of years, we've all seen a lot of movement in the political and economic sphere. And I think that proves great opportunity for us to be inspired and identify new opportunities. So SET stands for social, economic, and technological, and it can be used to validate or inspire new ideas or designs that you have. So social is all about looking at what people are saying on the ground, what people are talking about, what's the latest trend, who are people paying attention to. Economic. So economic is about people's appetite to spend. It's about, is it quality versus quantity? How is the industry performing? Should we go out with the premium product right now, or should we really focus on the core benefits of our product? And technological. So what are the new technologies that are coming out? What technology is available to us? How can that technology help us? So these are all key questions that you can ask if you're sort of stumped for an idea, or if you want to validate if an idea is good or bad or needs more thought. So the last band there at the bottom is making, and making is all about the collaboration piece and actually creating things. So round robin is that collaboration again. So it's sharing of ideas and critiquing of ideas. It is constructive criticism, but it's in a warm environment to improve the idea, not to just shoot it down. Journey mapping is a fantastic way of thinking about it from the customer's perspective. And concept cards, again, these are just tools. I am saying it over and over again because design thinking really is just about a mindset. You can go in and have a session with absolutely nothing. You can have a pen and a paper in front of you, and you can design something. Design thinking is about challenging what has been done before and thinking about it from the user's perspective. Bringing together the logical bit, so that first triangle that we saw around research and insights, and pairing that with the creativity that you have and the prototyping piece that you have. It's just engaging both sides of the brain. And this is what companies are having to do to survive. So when I say I'm a designer, an experienced designer, this is the work that I'm doing every day with companies around Dublin City and internationally as well. And they're all about creating those experiences. And they know that you need to design for an experience across lots of touch points. So whether it's your mobile, whether it's your phone, whether it's online. And we're no longer in a world where someone's just on a laptop or just on a phone or just in a shop. We're doing all of these things together. I can see a glow of devices here this morning, and we have to be aware of how, not just trying to fight that, but actually trying to incorporate it into everything that we do. So the key thing is it's not a battle to own the experience. Unless you're the Googles or the Facebooks of this world, it's just not going to happen. It's really racing to be a part of that experience instead of finding your piece of the puzzle. And if you are ever stumped on what an idea could be, or if you want to get your creative juices flowing, Dominic Wilcox is a great person to look up online. He's done some fantastic work over in the UK where he does workshops with children. Because it is really that child mentality that you need to bring to things like this and challenge and sort of be as creative as possible. So in the top right, that was a device created, I think, by a 7-year-old, where they said, what would happen if we switched the sound? So if my left ear heard over here and my right ear heard over here. The bottom left one, the drawing there, That's a child who said, well, we've radiators inside the house with lots of water running through them that's very hot during winter. I want a barbecue outside. So what would happen if we ran those hot water pipes outside the building? Could we have a barbecue? And the last one is a queue headrest. So if you're standing in line, probably for a flight that you're waiting to board, that may or may not have been delayed or cancelled, wouldn't it be great if you had a cushion on your forehead that you could just lean forward and rest while you're in the queue? So there's lots of inspiration out there. It's just about finding the inspiration that works for you and gets you thinking. I would say Pinterest, and definitely look up Dominic Wilcox. I suppose that's it from me. Hope you got to something away from it. Definitely post-it notes have been my saving grace. And if you have any questions or if you want to reach out to me, my details are there.